You're watching the Mad Fictional channel. And now it's time for some trailer talk.
I'm a little bit behind in my trailers, so before I talk about She-Hulk, I want to play catch up with the other Marvel shows on Disney+. While I liked the initial concept of WandaVision, I felt the sitcom gimmick went on too long, which undercut the dramatic tension of the series for me. And I understand the pandemic affected the final confrontation between Wanda and Agatha at the end, but I felt the ending lacked a certain gravitas. With Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I really liked the way the series began, but because Marvel's aim with these series is to set up future movie projects, I felt the show struggled under the weight of carrying so many subplots, to the point where certain key characters got pushed to the sidelines. That, and the ending was a little anticlimactic for me. I can understand why a show like Loki exists, because Tom Hiddleston does have a certain charm about him, but I wasn't able to connect with this show. It makes me think that although death is a conquerable thing in the Marvel Universe, maybe some characters should just accept their fate and go quietly into that good night. I thought Hawkeye was a fun romp, though I would have liked to see Jeremy Renner strut his stuff a little more. I also have more than a few nitpicks about Kate Bishop, Trick Arrows, and the Kingpin confrontation, but I honestly had low expectations for this series, so I can't complain because it turned out to be better than I expected. Moon Knight was another series I couldn't really connect with, despite the fine performances from Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke. Giving Stephen Grant/Mark Spector such a complicated backstory and attempting to root the show in dense mythology in such a limited time frame led to the storytelling feeling murky at best. I wouldn't be disappointed at all if this was a one-and-done series like the rumors suggest. After watching the first episode of Ms. Marvel, it's plain to see that I'm not the target demographic for this series, so I don't think it's fair for me to weigh in on it. Which brings me to the trailer for She-Hulk. We live in an age when shoddy CGI simply won't cut it, even for a TV series, and that was the biggest complaint the internet had when the first trailer for She-Hulk dropped. And I was among those who weren't impressed. Disney paid heed to the criticism and issued a reworked trailer, but then the issue of wokeness arose. It seems there are a group of people determined to hate She-Hulk, no matter what the series is actually like. While I'm not a fan of comedy mixing with superhero projects, especially if this turns out to be Marvel's answer to Ally McBeal, before you say a word, I'm well aware of the tone being true to the nature of the John Byrne run of the comic books, but I'm willing to give it a shot, at least 3 episodes, before I weigh in with a decision. A tongue-in-cheek approach may actually work for the show, and despite my personal no-comedy superhero preferences, I found this fake ad for the show amusing. But I have to admit that I'm mainly tuning in to see how Marvel/Disney handles the return of Daredevil. Even if I only stick it out for 3 episodes, I'll come back with my thoughts on the series.
And last but not least, our feature review.
Released on Hulu, Prey is the fifth film in the Predator franchise, and it serves as a prequel and sort of origin story of the Predator. It was written by Patrick Eisen, directed by Dan Trachtenberg, and stars Amber Midthunder, Dakota Beavers, and Dane DeLiegro. Set in the Comanche Nation of 1719, a young warrior woman squares off against an extraterrestrial hunter in order to protect her tribe. Before getting into the review, I need to let you know that I'm not an overall Predator fan. I liked the first film with Arnold and crew, hated the second one with Danny Glover, wasn't overly impressed with the Adrian Brody flick, and didn't even bother watching the Shane Black entry. Adding to my list of things that I'm not particularly fond of are prequels of established franchises. That being said, I didn't hate this film. It's not as good as the original, mind you, that was pure 80s pseudo-science fiction action gold when Arnold Schwarzenegger was at the top of his game, but this one comes in a close second. As is common with modern-day films that focus on female protagonists and people of non-Caucasian ethnicities in substantial roles, there have been internet cries denouncing this film as being the dreadfully overused catch-all buzzword, woke, but I disagree with that. What the film is going for it is that it goes back to basics, and even better than that, back to pre-basics, where there's no heavy artillery or advanced technology on the human's part. Just basic weaponry, wits, and skill. Because Neru is a flawed character who not only makes mistakes but learns from them, it made me care for and root for her, something I have not done in a Predator movie in a long time. Action in itself isn't enough to make a Predator movie work. It needs to be balanced with emotional connections and suspense, and who can't get sucked into rooting for the underdog who has to find a way to outlast and survive against advanced alien technology by using their wits alone. And that's the point all the naysayers who are eager to point out that Neru isn't as strong as the mercenary team of the first film. Newsflash, she doesn't need to be. Human muscles can't compete with a more powerful alien hunter, so it doesn't matter that Neru isn't ripped. What's important is that she's observant, a quick study, and can think on her feet. That, and having the home field advantage, certainly doesn't hurt. Prey is by no means a perfect movie, but it is an entertaining one that you can watch from the comfort of your home, and in my humble opinion, is definitely worth your time. Have you seen the film? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Thank you for watching TV Wormhole with Mad Fictional. We do hope you enjoyed yourself and that you'll come back real soon. Ta-ra for now.